We're back on the record and cause number, on cause number 3311046, case of South State of Texas versus Burrell Allen Thompson. Mr. Thompson, you was previously sworn in and you entered a plea of no contest to the charge of obstructing highway passageway. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And now I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Mr. Thompson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, on page 2 of Mr. Thompson, there are a set of initials,
Yes, sir.
BT on the line next to the box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest.
Yes, sir.
Did you place your initials on this document?
I did. Yes, sir.
And there is a paragraph here that's written that's titled forfeit your statute of limitations defense. And it reads, comes now the defendant adjourned by counsel to forfeit my statute of limitations defense to this charge as part of the plea bargain. Did your attorney explain that to you?
Yes, sir. He did.
Okay. Let me have him the initial next to the paragraph, you and your client. Okay. Now, Mr. Thompson, on page 3 of this same document, there is a signature at the top of this document above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir. It is.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, Mr. Thompson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that's titled
Yes, sir.
defendant?
It is.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I
The
do.
second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson, I also have before me a document that is titled discovery certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, that is my signature.
Now, Mr. Thompson, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, go over these documents with you?
Yes.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Best of my knowledge, yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2 to probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Vasquez? No objections. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Thompson, you have been advised and counseled by your attorney, Mr. Macon. In this case, are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
You also have been advised and counseled by Attorney Joe Vasquez, who's standing in for Mr. Macon. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, he has.
And Mr. Vasquez, you've advised and counseled Mr. Thompson. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The agreement is for 1 year deferred adjudication, deferred probation, $750 fine,
Okay.
50 hours community service, DWI education, drug and alcohol assessment, and the state is dismissing cause number 323054.
What is it?
323054.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudication probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 and court costs. The fine and court costs comes to a total of $1,092. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Your total monthly installments that you will be required to pay while you're on probation is $175 each month. Mr. Thompson, will you be able to pay the $175 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. And you'll be required to attend a DWI education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And the state will be dismissing cause number 323054. You will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Thompson, do you understand the state offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. And Mr. Thompson, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not appear on your record as a conviction, and you may qualify for a non-disclosure. Your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, as well as Mr. Macon, could explain that to you,
Yes, sir.
and because they're quite competent in those matters. And so, Mr. Thompson, please stand on the X next to your attorney. I'm going to follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Can I go ahead and get your right thumbprint on that blue light? Thank you. Can I have you do that one more time?
Sure.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Can I get your signature on the
No.
signature card located in it, but you won't be able to see it, but I will.
That's what I was told.
And Mr. Vasquez, can I have you sign on behalf of
Yeah,
the
we want-
no problem. One last thing, Mr. Thompson, raise your right hand for me. You swear that you've never before been given deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state?
Correct.
And you have no other pending charges that you're aware of? Report to this address as soon as you leave here, and they'll go over everything.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's telling you this morning.
Where is
Miss Hogan's not here. She is
in Hardin County Jail and was ordered to rehab. And so I would ask
Could
that.
you, okay, Miss Maxey, could we verify that? That she's in Horton County Jail?
Or she's already gone to rehab by court order.
Oh, well, it was through, court order in Horton County?
But I do not have any documentation, so I would like to get it to the court.
Oh, okay, well,
Okay, so she is, okay. They here. Okay.
He's gotta be.
What did you need, Judge? Do you need someone?
Mona Hogan.
yeah, call the name of Mona Hogan. Okay,
She's currently in Hardin County Jail, Your Honor.
okay.
Is she vacation?
Yes.
So we can't forfeit a bond. There's a warrant that's already out of, they got off the bond, so they're, yeah, it's warrant that's already out. Is this your only?
One other, Your Honor, it's a Leroy Harris.
Okay, hold on a minute. We're gonna have to bail it to go get Leroy.
Yeah, he's outside, Judge.
You said she's in rehab?
Going to rehab.
She's going to rehab?
Rehab. I think
She's-
she's just waiting for a bed.
Yeah, she must be going to state jail, safety or something. Probably, she's waiting on the bed. Yeah,
I was
That'll be
contacted,
fine.
I was contacted by her attorney there.
okay, this is cause number 323122, case of style the state of Texas versus Leroy Harris Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Harris?
Okay.
Mr. Harris, you're here representing, well, I don't see your name.
No, you don't.
On the docket.
Judge. I saw Mr. Harris here. I represent him on the felonies.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I believe are the 6th of December in drug court. I would ask that at least be placed there on December 6th. I will get you a letter of representation.
Okay, Mr. Harris, I have to sign the reset. Leroy Harris,
Just Junior.
it's on the docket.
The state
It's
said
on,
they
it's
were
on the
gonna dismiss
announcement
the
docket,
felonies.
right under Dixon. First page.
Mr. Boyd said he was going to dismiss the felonies for me and we were going to plead to the misdemeanor.
Hey, he's a misdemeanor attorney. How you gonna, how you gonna dismiss the felonies?
He was going to dismiss the felonies and we were going to take jail time on the misdemeanor.
Okay. He may not be working here if he does that. Judge,
He's on a roll.
Judge Wortham might not like that.
I heard he's on a roll. He's getting guilty convictions and we were gonna push him up the ladder.
When is the felony reset?
It's December.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Harris, stand over there, you know, sign on that pass your case, you reset to December 6th. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day, and Mr.
May I be excused,
Burbank,
Your
yes, you may be excused.
Thank you, sir.
You have a blessed day as well. We're in session and cause number 327280. Case to style the state of Texas versus Albert Martinez. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Martinez?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Martinez, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Martinez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Martinez, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Jared Gilthorpe. Mr. Gilthorpe, how are you doing? That's good. Mr. Gilthorpe, I have before me an information, well, Mr. Gilthorpe, do you waive a record in Mr. Martinez's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about July 10th, 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Martinez, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Martinez, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty, no contest. Guilty?
So
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Martinez, are these your initials, AM, on the line next to a box that's checked guilty?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, Mr. Martinez, is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Martinez, I have before me another document that is titled Trial Court Certification Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
And there are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, I also have another document before me that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Gilthorpe, you've advised and counseled Mr. Martinez. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Judge. He's competent.
Mr. Martinez, your attorney, Mr. Gilthorpe has advised and counseled you. Is there any, are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, I will accept you're guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that you plead guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
It's 60 days jail, probated over 1 year, $700 fine, 40 hours community service, DWI education class, drug and alcohol assessment, and ignition interlock.
And you said ignition, the interlock?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Martinez, the state is offering that you serve 60 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, You will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $700 plus court costs of $422. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee. Now, the fine and the court costs comes to a total of $1,122. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to pay a Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments that you will be required to pay, that is the amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $200. Will you be able to pay the $200?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 40 hours of community service, attend a DWI education class, and have a drug and alcohol assessment. You will also be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own and operate, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Martinez, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Martinez, please stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following our clerk's directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mr. Martinez. Can I go ahead and get your right hand on that blue light, please?
Yeah, hold on,
Thank you.
not right now.
And now, Mr. Martinez, can I go ahead and get your signature on that signature tab located in front of you?
What's the name? Go your pause. Okay, let's see, what's the cause number? It's cause number 3299952.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay,
If I may address the court.
okay, well, let me see. This is the case of style of state of Texas versus Patricia Edith Goyapaz. Is that correct? Okay, Ms. Goyapaz is represented here by Mr. Tom Burbank. Mr. Burbank?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may address the
Yeah.
court. I was in front of this court Friday. Patricia's case with Billy Paz, I did not have it on my calendar,
Well, I remember that.
so I didn't have the file with me. I think it's my office's fault The reset I have was for Friday. It was on my docket for today, and we notified her to be here today. So I think she was following my direction of not showing up Friday. And it was a scheduling error, I believe, on the part of my office. She's been out here since 9 o'clock thinking that her court date was today instead of Friday.
Well, I know, I think, well, I'm just correct me if I'm wrong. I know you had appeared on Zoom. And, yeah,
Was it
Friday,
Fri-
you had appeared on Zoom and you
Yeah.
said you didn't have the file. You was gonna try to look for the file. And then,
I thought I was here. Oh, no, I wasn't here on Friday.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
on
you
Zoom.
was on Zoom. But, anyway, we thought that you was gonna try to contact her. I mean, that's,
She showed up today because I think that's what my office told her, because when I walked back out, she was sitting there. And I do have her file for today, but I will represent to the court. I have a reset for the 12th. But it was not, you were the one that told me that, oh, we had this person for Friday. And I didn't have it on my calendar.
yeah, but the state, moved for the bond to be forfeited. What is the state's position?
Your Honor, we withdraw that motion at this point.
Okay, so the state is,
I'm court appointed on this, judge, and she has complied with all my, we've talked, she's come to my office, we've talked about the case. And I think it's going to be resolved at the next court hearing if we can get a reset.
so the state is requesting that state is requesting that the bond forfeiture in that case be set aside.
And if we can just get a normal reset, I think we can resolve this.
It didn't go through.
Thank you.
We didn't go through?
They had to get it for front. It was still in your queue.
So it wasn't processed, so you got it before it got processed. Okay,
May we have another?
just get with the court coordinator, should give you a reset date.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe we can excuse.
You're on announcement.
I'm sorry. Every day.
Hey, Your Honor, maybe revisit that Kaya Johnson. I've been trying to get a hold of her. I'm thinking she might be in class right now.
Okay, hold on a minute, let me see, he wasn't processed, bond forfeiture wasn't processed.
Given a few days, I can get her back in the courtroom and we can, she'll sign anything we need to sign.
Good. Football's over. Yeah. Hopefully, treated like baseball teams.
I agree with baseball.
Yes. Oh, no, hold on a minute. Fine with me.
That would do it.
Thank you.
You're there to play football.
We're gonna call Taylor Thompson first. Go ahead on and get that signed. Y'all can start signing. We're gonna call him as the order on the docket. Okay, Taylor Thompson? He was out there earlier, okay.
They quit.
Thompson. Must be him there. You Taylor Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, once you come on up, your attorney has you reset. Your attorney, Mr. Macon, is sick. So Mr. Vasquez has a reset for you. Bill Robbins. Mr. Robbins, we have the same announcement. Mr. Vasquez is going to give you a reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go.
All right, here is the
Okay. Okay. You're free to go, Mr. Robbins, and you have a blessed day. Roland Cardenas, the same announcement. Mr. Macon is sick. You're gonna get a reset from Mr. Vasquez. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Oh, it's not ready.
Mr. Did Travis Cannon, is Travis Cannon here on the announcement docket, page 3, second from the bottom, in Mr. Vasquez case? Okay, he's on the, yeah, second from the bottom on page 3, Travis Cannon. Yeah, buddy.
Said Travis Canada.
Yes, okay. You can trust, we'll give you time to try to contact him. He has a bondsman. Yes.
Free trial stuff.
We're in session in two cases. First case is cause number 314394. And the second case is cause number 323012. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Blakely Michelle McLaughlin. Ms. McLaughlin, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. McLaughlin?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. McLaughlin, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. McLaughlin, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. McLaughlin, you may put your hand down. Ms. McLaughlin, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Don Boudreaux. Mr. Boudreaux, how are you doing?
Just fine, sir.
That's good. Mr. Boudreaux, do you waive a record in Ms. McLaughlin's cases?
Yes, sir.
Ms. McLaughlin, in cause number 314394, I have before me an information that alleges that yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I have before me information that alleges that on or about July 3rd of 2016, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Ms. McLaughlin, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. McLaughlin, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest?
Now, are you pleading no contest freely,
No, judge, it's an MTRP.
or it's the MTRP? Okay, yes. Do you have that motion? Okay. Okay, Ms. McLaughlin, I have before me a motion to revoke your probation in clause number 314394. This motion alleges that on March 8th of 2017, here in County Court at Law number 2, that you were found guilty and you're punished for the offense of driving while intoxicated, and your punishment was assessed at 90 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail, a fine up to $500 and a fine of $500. The confinement portion was probated for a period of 1 year. On February 12th of 2019, the District Attorney's Office filed a motion to revoke your probation. And as a special amended motion that was also filed on March 15th, this motion. Can I look at, hold on a minute. Look at that motion.